9:42, leading to 10 p.m. We have about 18 minutes before we wrap up. And joining us right now is Bianca van Aswegen. She's from Missing Children SA, and she'll be chatting to us about a very, 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 very concerning phenomenon that's currently happening in the country. If you've been following the news, you'll know of the case of missing Jocelyn Smith, which has dominated headlines as the community and law enforcement desperately search for the 6-year-old. But her story is not the only one that should be of concern. There was a stat that almost over 1,300 children and adults are reported missing every month in South Africa. And to help us unpack this and, to make us understand why is there a sudden spike, if there is a sudden spike in, missing people, whether it's children and adults, is going to be Bianca Aswegen. She's a criminologist and also national coordinator at Missing Children. I'm sure she's joining us on the line. Welcome to Salam Media, Bianca, and thank you so much for joining us.
Well, good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. 1,300 children and adults reported missing every month in South Africa. Is there a spike? Is it where things have always been? Should we be concerned?
Just a correction on those stats. Those are the stats in general for kidnappings in our country related to adults and children. My statement was misunderstood. So they put it out as 1,300 children. That is not true. That is the amount of kidnappings we approximately see being reported in our country monthly. Unfortunately, statistics are not available on how many children are missing currently in our country, but we do see a number of cases, an increasing number of cases being reported to our organization yearly. That is definitely of a great concern.
Do we have a reason, why, I want us to maybe just focus on that, the reported kidnappings. You said the 1,300, if I'm correct. Is this a spike? You are analyzing, or as I questioned before, is this where things have always been? Has the number been fluctuating from there? And if there is a spike, is there anything that we can accredit it to? What's happening?
Yes, those over 1,000 kidnappings that have been reported in our country is that of stats that has been released within their crime stats. So yes, kidnappings have definitely escalated in our country, and also for various reasons. And one of the kidnappings that we have seen that's quite prominent is the kidnapping for ransom. Now, this is very much money orientated. I can also see this is very much related to the economical crisis we're facing in South Africa. So money is quite at the forefront, when it comes to any type of crime. We also have things that happen, for instance, with our children, it's parental kidnappings that happen. We've got opportunistic kidnappings that happen. And then we also see human trafficking cases that happen.
Focusing on human trafficking cases, I just saw here that South Africa itself is now considered one of the kidnapping hotspots. What do they take into consideration when they would give you that label and say this is one of the countries that if you are traveling to, you must keep be careful, and for the citizens themselves, there's a problem of human trafficking. What's taken into consideration when it comes to us being given that label?
If we look at human trafficking, this is not just a South African problem; it's a worldwide problem. Trafficking, also trafficking has increased when we look at, once again, the world, the COVID, the lockdown that we face. So if we look at kidnapping and human trafficking worldwide, actually, everybody needs to be careful, because it's something that's a reality, it's something that happens, and it's something that can happen to anybody. So whether you're a tourist in a different country or a citizen of South Africa, we need to face reality here. We need to implement safety measures. It's not just the responsibility of the police or organizations to keep our citizens safe, but they themselves need to realize the problem in our country and also keep themselves safe and their children.
And I know there's a lot of parents that are listening to this, and they are of course very very concerned. We know that children are obviously targets. Adults also might be kidnapped, but children just seem like easy pickings. For these criminals. Is there anything that parents can do? To make sure that their kids are safe. We know that almost every kid has a cell phone right now, and that can on its own be used as one of the mechanisms to try and bait these children and ultimately kidnap them. But in general, is there anything that parents can do to try and protect their children?
Yes, well, children are our most vulnerable in our society, so they are easier targeted than anyone else. So let's start with the point that you mentioned with cell phones. Yes, cell phones are there, especially for our children when they are having an emergency, for instance. But once again, social media is one of our platforms where we see child grooming going on with human trafficking related, false job advertisements, false profiles being created. So we do urge parents and guardians to please monitor your children's social media use. That could really make such a difference. And then also we do urge parents and guardians, please be vigilant. Know where your children are at all times and whom they with. If you do have to leave someone due to work-related issues or anything like that, please make sure that you leave them with a trusted person. If it might be a carer, make sure that you've got references and background checks done. We do ask people to please visit our website. It's www.missingchildren.org.za. We've got some great safety tips for parents and for children. And then also, we do urge parents and guardians, please educate your children from a young age with interactive learning. It does assist by keeping them safe.
No, definitely. And I think we can't. You mentioned that it's not only law enforcement's responsibility in trying to curb this phenomenon, but we can't completely absolve our law enforcement agencies. Why does it seem like they don't have a grip on this? Why does it seem like it's a problem that they're finding hard to manage? Is it an issue of resources? Is it an issue of just having the technical know-how in trying to curb the issue of missing people and kidnapped people?
I think there's a lot of various factors that contribute to this. As I mentioned, we can't always just point fingers at our police system or law enforcement or government. As I mentioned, it is also each and every person's responsibility as a citizen to report crime, to also make a difference in their community. But yes, police are inundated with cases, and it's just, if we look at our organization, the amount of cases being reported to us, it is so difficult, to handle each and every one. So yes, we do as an organization put in the effort with each and every case that gets reported to us. But we should not forget about all the cold cases, all the children that are missing, and also having to follow up on those leads and make sure everything is still done in those cases. So I think there's various factors to why South Africa is lacking in finding our missing children and doing something about it. Because like I said, it's not just the responsibility of us and SAP, it's the responsibility of our parents, our guardians, our community to firstly keep our children safe.
I would like to give you a scenario here. I think, usually we speak about these things, but not in literal terms. Let's say me, Salilo, I just, come back from work. I'm expecting my son or my daughter to come back from school at a certain time, or I should be picking them up. And then I get a message on my phone. We've taken your child for this amount of money. What's the first thing that I should be doing and considering at that particular moment?
Please report it to your nearest police station immediately. We know, especially with kidnapping cases, families do feel threatened and they might feel that they don't want to go to the police because the kidnappers might be threatening them. But please report it to your nearest police station immediately. We've got a specialized kidnapping unit within our walk that specializes specifically on these kidnappings and different types of kidnappings happening. There are professionals that can intervene and assist with that. So please open it immediately so action can be taken.
And that, the temptation to engage with whoever sent me the message, is that something that I should not consider at all? Do I leave the message just read and just run to the authorities? What happens?
It's a very difficult thing to answer if you're not in that situation at that moment, depending on what is asked of you, depending on what the situation is. So it's not a scenario that we can play out beforehand to actually say this is exactly the steps that you need to take. But please try and get to the police station with those messages so they can advise on how to take things further, and the kidnapping task team can get involved.
And I'm pretty sure, with these kidnappings happening at such a very high volume, there must be a pattern, maybe a modus operandi that you guys might have picked up. What does that look like?
These syndicates, these kidnapping syndicates, yes, they are very much sophisticated. So it's a very much money orientated, as I mentioned. So they're quite brazen in just taking people. But we also need to realize that they might even keep an eye on you for quite a few weeks. So that's also why we urge people to please be very careful. Change your routine. Leave your home 5 minutes earlier or 5 minutes later in a day. Take a different route coming back and from school or from work or from the shop. The routine changes. So if you are being watched, and there's a specific time that they wanted to, do the kidnapping, that they are thrown off. So yes, we have seen that usually these ransom kidnappings are much related to very much high individuals or high business people with a lot of money, or families that are very wealthy. But also we have seen cases where the ransom has been very little. So it is very much money orientated. If they can get you 100 rand, they'll do it. So it's also our responsibility to just implement measures to keep ourselves safe.
I want us to just, lastly go back to kids. I think, it doesn't matter at whatever point, whether it's at the mall, or it's at a sporting event. There's always going to be a child that's missing, and there's an intercom. Does so and so missing a child? Come find them at the front desk. Is there a way to equip children, and make it easier for them to articulate themselves, to know maybe the parents' contact numbers, to know their address, to keep some kind of information on them, to make sure that it's easier for them to be found when they're not necessarily kidnapped, but they're just lost, they're just gone missing.
Yes, we always ask parents that when going to a shopping center, for instance, with a child, or down to the beach, or down to an event, dress them in brightly colored clothes so they're easily spotted in a crowd of people. Always set up a meeting point beforehand. Should you do get separated or your child gets lost, that you know where to meet up. If something should happen within a shopping center or at an event, please ensure that the security is informed immediately so the shop can be closed off and a search can be done for the child. But yes, there's always stuff that can be done. For instance, at events, the event coordinators, the event personnel, little bands on the children's arms. But yeah, once again, we look back into why did the child actually wander, or how did they get lost? Why weren't eyes kept on them at all times? So it once again comes to the responsibility of our community, our parents, and our guardians.
Yeah, no, and just lastly, before I let you go there, Bianca, your contact details, your website, where people can find, a bit more information, about, equipping themselves and their loved ones, in a case of kidnapping or missing, loved one. Where can they get hold of you?
Yes, our website is www.missingchildren.org.za. We've got some great safety tips there for parents and children, the process of what to do when a child goes missing. There's a link available if you want to report a child or a person as missing directly to us. Our emergency contact numbers are also available on our website, and we do ask people to please click on the donate button, help our organization, help us bring a child home. Please support us. Follow us on social media, on Facebook at Missing Children South Africa. share the flies and help make a difference in our country.
I think we're going to leave it there, Bianca. Thank you so much for giving us your time, and I hope to catch up with you soon.
Pleasure. Thank you.
There we go. Bianca van Aswegen, the criminologist and national coordinator at Missing Children South Africa, just giving us insight on why is there so much a spike in missing children and cases of kidnapped, not just children but also people, adults. Yeah, man. I think we've discussed this a lot, but I think as time goes by and with parents just having easy access of finding their children on the phone, it has become a bit less important to try and have your child memorize your phone number. I remember when I was young and I was growing up, the first thing that my parents was when I started going to malls by my own or going to friends' house, is have me memorize their phone numbers, both my parents' phone numbers, try and memorize them, and also both their names in full detail and also my address. And I think I was about 9, 10, 11 there, where that information was instilled in me by force that if you are lost or you go missing by any chance, go to any adult, give them our phone number, or give them your address if they ask, and they'll be able to help you. So as I asked at the beginning of the show, what measures have you put in at home when it comes to your kids and trying to instill those measures when the unfortunate scenario of them being kidnapped comes through? So you can send us your WhatsApp 0617660355, and you can let us know how you're assisting your children to make sure that they come out at a very, very better and safer place should they go missing. We've come to an end of our show. You can continue engaging with us on social media. It's Salam Media on all social media platforms. You can follow us on Twitter or X now. It's just at Salam Media. The show's hashtag is hashtag news and views. But for now, I think we've come to the end of our show. It's been a pleasure, to talk to you. Yes. As I said, you can join us on our various social media platforms. WhatsApp 0617660355. Twitter is at Salam Media. The show's hashtag is hashtag news and views. We still have our last interview. Sorry, say we leaving, not just yet. We're going to be focusing on Sudan and America's influence in trying to, implement, advocate for democracy in Sudan. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Aisha, who's on standby, joining us for that interview.